What's up everyone, this is Impact Easy and welcome to Total Conflict Resistance. We are going to be doing a little bit of a tutorial video here. I'm not used to doing tutorials, so this might be a complete mess, but I've been having a lot of requests in the comments asking just to explain some of the gameplay mechanics, and I think the community is having a bit of a hard time understanding how things work. It's not explained very well in the game. So hopefully we can use this video to help the community kind of understand the game just a bit better. Also, if you have anything to add, or if I don't explain something 100% correctly, just let me know in the comments, and you can help a lot of people out here. So I'm going to kind of do this at the seat of my pants. I have no real structure here, so yeah, just bear with me as we go along. Right, so we have our resources up top. So you have wood, cloth, iron, fuel, copper, gold. You have all your unrefined resources, so your iron ore, your aluminum ore, copper ore, and gold ore. Then you have your aluminum ingot and iron ingot here. These, the ore needs to be manufactured into ingots for it to be useful. Also, you have your canned goods. So canned goods are made from meat. So meat is turned into canned goods, and you have to do that through your manufacturing, which we'll explain later. You have your money, your bread, and wheat. So wheat has to be made into bread. And again, you do that in your construction tab down here. Actually, sorry, you do that in your production tab. Well, construction and production at the same time. Well, getting ahead of myself. You have stone, wood boards, your tobacco, and that's it. On the right side here, you have all of your cities that are in your control. As you can see, we're pretty late in this campaign. This is a series that we have up on the channel right now. So if you want to watch that, it is available. And as you can see, we're pretty far into it. If you want to go to any one of these cities, just double click on whatever one you want, and it'll take you to it. Also, it's going to show you what you're producing in that individual city. So in Faro, in our capital, we're producing 2 canned goods, 2 canned food, Humvees, and militia uniforms. And in Salemo, we're producing bread, meat, and wheat. And as you can see, in the production tab, that's where you see that. So if we go down to Faro, which is our capital, this is where it shows you what's being produced. So it's the same as over on this side, as you can see. It's producing, this is how you see what you're producing in each city if you want to come in here. Also, each city can only build, so we have an opening slot here in Amera. I'm going to screw up these names. I don't know how to say half of these names. Now, I don't know where that region is. Let me see if I can find it. So it's over here. So this is, I think we just conquered this city down here. So as of now, we're not producing anything in here. So if we go into construction, I'm going to cancel this. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, so here it is right here. So right now in Amera, we have 2 military factories, and that's it. We can build in 3 more slots. So if you click on one of the slots, it'll give you the options that you can build. And each one of these, so if I build here, it's going to give me different options because I have different buildings in that city. So Salmeno, so here we have military factories, which is giving us a lot more options on building. Here, it's mainly just a food, Here, it's mainly just a food territory. So it's going to give me, more food options, tobacco, fields. We can build residential buildings, which will increase our manpower. So you have to keep that in mind when it comes to building. So you're going to get different options depending on what's in the city already. So Armena, we have the option to build pretty much anything that is in this side of the screen. Right now, what I would do if I was going to build something, that's a good question. Probably a research center or even bread, because food's super important. So as you can see, we'll go back down to our capital. Each city has its own resource pool. So Faro, our capital, this is all the resources that are in this city. If we go to Castello, Castello has its own. As you can see, it's a lot less. Boa Vista, again, each one of these cities is going to have its own resource and manpower pool. As you can see, there's very limited here. We do have food, your ammunition, and your weapons. And that, again, is... So if we look at Amara, they do have food. I mean, this is the capital. This is obviously the capital of this region because it has all of their building materials as well and their oil. So you can also look at the region. So we do have wheat here. So what I would do is I would make this my food city because I would probably put a bakery. Depends on what's there already. But knowing that we do have wheat here, we'd probably want to make this our food city. We do have iron ore, so we'd probably want to put an iron ore mine so we can turn this ore into actual useful ingots. And possibly maybe turn this and put, a manpower building or research center or something to do with military growth. So you have your tabs, you have dictatorship. Right now, as this faction, we're a democracy, so we probably don't want 34% dictatorship. Probably not a good thing. The differences between dictatorships and democracies, I'm not too familiar on. I've only played as democracy. I know you get different starting units. Well, I know you get different units all through the campaign, different units and weapons, but I don't know about the different mechanics. Political power, authority, and stability. So with me, what I've experienced is that authority and political power don't really affect the gameplay much. I haven't noticed a big use for these two. The only thing that you really want to keep an eye on is stability. And stability is pretty much how happy your total faction is. And rebels, obviously if this goes too low, you're going to get rebels, and rebels can be a real pain in the side because they can build some pretty powerful units. I've seen rebels have like 6 vehicles in their battalion. It's pretty ridiculous. And the way to help stability, as it says there, is to build police detachments or products like food and alcohol. So right now, I think we have a starving city in Rakov. So we want to take care of this right away before they get too mad and revolt. And then, the rebels have no problem taking your cities. They have the ability to do that. They're not weak. You don't want to just sit on them. You want to take care of them right away. So you have food and alcohol and police detachments. Down here, we can talk about police and building units in a second. Over here, you have manufacturing. So this is where you research all of your ammunition, silencers, your uniforms, which you need to research so you can build the uniforms to clothe your units. You can't build units if they don't have uniforms. You can't send them out into the field naked. The game won't let you do that. So if you don't have uniforms, you're not going to be able to build a unit. So you probably want to make these a priority for research. At least keep it at the top of your list. You can clothe your regular militia or your regular infantry in police uniforms. The game will do that. So really in a dire situation, you only need to research at least one of these, just your police uniforms as of now. You don't need the militia uniform. That's just something, I just didn't want my militia units in police uniforms. You do have weapons. You do have to wait until the date of that year. So right now we are 2025. So we have to wait until 2026 to research this line. Your vehicles here, same goes with that. I don't know if the game goes beyond 2031. But I don't know when the end date in the game is. Here you have your construction like we talked about. And like I said, depending on what is already built in there is what's going to give you the option in here. And the best advice I can give for what's worked for me is to focus on, I wouldn't want to put a military building here. We already have wheat, so let's make this a food city. Try and specialize your cities to do one job. Here we have an aluminum mine, so I would probably put an aluminum plant here to turn that resource into something useful. And same goes down the line. Airports, I don't know any use for them as of yet. No, I don't want to do that. I would hope that they're going to be useful in the later stages of the game, but as of now, I don't see any strategic value for airports. You can't build planes as of now. And as you go down here again, another food city, we have another airport. This looks like Sonder is the capital. So what I would do here is probably build, maybe I could even turn this into a research city, and just to help with our research. Each building costs a different amount of money, different resources. So the research is $10,000, 50 wood boards and 80 stone. Cigarettes are $67.50, 45 boards, 75 stones, and bakery is, it'll tell you what it's going to cost to build pretty much. And it'll tell you what the production is as well. So this is going to produce 10 cloth. I don't know if that's daily, monthly. I don't know how that calculates. I would assume, I don't want to assume anything. That's something to keep an eye on. I don't know what the production time is. If that's 10 per day or 10 per month. It's certainly not 10 per year, I'll tell you that much. So production, this ties into your construction. So if you have, in Luongo here, we have a wheat field. So we'll go into our production and we'll find Luongo. So we're producing wheat in this city. So this ties in, your construction and your production tie in together. So Luongo can only produce wheat because we only have a wheat field there. I can't build any weapons, and there's only one slot here because there's only one building here. If I built a bakery, I would be able to produce bread in the production tab. This square would open up and I would be able to produce bread now. I wouldn't be able to produce weapons because I don't have any military factories in this region. The reason why these are open is because Amera is opened up. So Amera is it obviously has military factories built in there already, and that's what's giving us the option to build all this military equipment. It doesn't have any food production or mines in it as of now. So Amera is up here, as we saw before. Where is it? Right, Amera. It only has military factories, so we can't produce food in a region that doesn't have food buildings. So it's giving us the option to just build military equipment. So how you do that, you just put it in a queue. So we're building FAMAS. It's going to be building at 20% efficiency, and that will go, I guess it's 480 an hour. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what this means, to be honest. And this will go up over time. As you can see, our wheat and our bread are 100%. These are down. I must have just put these on. But that'll go up over time. I don't know if it goes up to 100 for everything, because these have been on the production queue for a very long time and they're still not at 100. But it will go up and things will get better as long as you keep it in that queue. We could also put something else in here, like, RPG rockets. It'll tell you what it's going to take to build that each rocket. So it's going to take 2 iron and 1 copper. These FAMASs are going to be 3 iron. So you have to keep that in mind when you have your production. So right now, if we hover over our iron, it's first of all, it's telling us where we're building the iron. And second of all, it's telling us what it's taking away from, which is a lot. Iron seems to be the most important research, or the most important metal right now. That could change. I've heard in past copper was, but for me, iron is king as of now. What else? Diplomacy. Diplomacy is pretty straightforward. It's going to tell you the factions, how much they hate you. These are all your treaties that you have. Just hover over them. They'll tell you what they're doing. I can cancel this mission. And it's just basic stuff in here, what you want to do. If you want to improve, so you can come into here. It's going to explain on obviously what you're doing, the time it's going to take. The success chance is 48%. And I'll give you some other information here. We can bribe them, which is going to cost $250. This will go up if you want to increase your war goal. I've seen this go up to the thousands. So you keep an eye on this. Make sure you're not spending more than you want. So you can send the bribe, and it'll increase it to 76%, which is better than what it was. And that'll hopefully be successful. So we've gone over production, gone over squad editor. So this, you're not really going to be using until you get the equipment that you want to kind of streamline your army with. As you can see, we have FAMASs equipped. So up here we have our militia. You can change this to police, your regular units, spec ops, and elite. But right now we're using militia. Your infantry, because you have motorized, armor, and recon. And then this is just the squad itself. So there's 10 units in each squad. In each squad. And you can click on them individually and kit them out individually. So, you can, as of now, I have, I think 3 or 4 people with RPG launchers, and then the rest don't carry them. And you can kit out each one of these guys as you want. I mean, you can give each soldier a different weapon. I mean, you got pretty good customization here. But a big help, I think, is just streamline your army. Give them all the same weapon. Don't make things too complicated. You can change their uniforms if you want. This, I don't think, really matters because it's just a straight up uniform. It just takes cloth to make. That's it. Here you have your different weapon sites, which again, you either have to research and produce. So it is a big investment, or buy if you have them, if you are lucky enough to see them in the world market. And same with your silencers here. So you can buy weapons here. So if you bought these, you're going to get 49 of them, and they're going to go straight into your capital. So you can use them right away, as long as you have units there that can take them. But you're only going to have 49 of them. So only 49 soldiers are going to be able to take them. So if you have a squad editor and you put this on, let's say we bought, a T4 site, and we saved it and we put it on everyone. The game's only going to put that site on units if you have the site in your inventory. Otherwise, it'll just give you a stock FAMAS. That's it. So you can kit these out as best as you want, but if you don't have the equipment to actually kit out your soldiers, it's just going to give them the default weapon. So I don't know if I'm explaining this or if I'm over explaining it. So right now I have FAMASs equipped with this unit. With my every single squad is going to have a FAMAS. I don't have sights, so I just had that off. So they have FAMASs, this uniform, and that's it, and some RPGs on some of them. So if I build that unit in here, so we're going to create a squad. So it's in police uniform because we don't have any militia. So I'm going to be clicking between these two cities for a second because it's kind of how I'm going to explain how the resources work. So Salemo doesn't have any militia uniforms. So it's going to put them in police uniforms. You have to, and it's, so they're technically police. Which means in your squad editor, they're going to be kitted out with whatever weapons, if you have them, with this. So they're going to have Kar 98s, which by the way is a good weapon if you manually use it. And these are the weapons that it's going to kit out. So again, we're in Salemo. These are the weapons that it's going to kit out your soldiers with. Even if I had FAMASs, it can't give them weapons that the city doesn't have. So it's going to, you can use your squad editor to equip your units as best as you want, but if the city doesn't have the equipment to kit them out with, it's going to default them to whatever it has. So if I keep clicking on this, it's going to give them all the hosh-posh weapons until it eventually runs out, which by the looks of it, we have a lot of weapons here. Yeah, so we have like 5 Kar 98s. So that's the weapons it's going to give. It's not going to give them FAMASs. Oh, we can delete this. The guerrilla, I don't know what determines if it's a guerrilla unit or not. Also, so to go over resources again, so your reservists, that's pretty much your manpower pool. And each squad is 10 men. So we can build about 9 squads, 9.5 squads with 94. We do have police. So that's going to be, if you build police units, that's going to pull from it as well. If I create a squad here, they're actually militia units. So it's making vehicles. It's making vehicles because we have vehicles. We're in our capital. And we're also producing vehicles. As you can see, where are we? We're producing Humvees in Faro. These vehicles I bought, if I'm not mistaken. So these are bought units from the world market here. I bought them earlier. So we have Humvees. So it always prioritizes vehicles first when you're building units. There, now it's going to start making units. And it's giving the units the weapons that I have. We are producing militia uniforms, so it is going to give them these militia uniforms. If I didn't have these here, it would put them in police uniforms. And as of now, we have 42 reservists, so we can build 4 squads. We could build 5 squads, but we'd have 4 squads full, and then our last squad would only have 2 out of 10 units in it. So you just divide this number by 10, and that's how many squad units you're going to have. So this would be, yeah, we could do this. You can keep building. It's going to give you 1, but it's only going to, you're not going to, these are going to be a squad of 1, which I guess is a way to cheese the game if we really think about it, but a squad of 1 really isn't going to be useful. And the way the manpower works, so as I said, you have 38. It's going to fill up this one first. It's going to fill it up to 10. It's going to come down, do this one, and it's just going to keep going down the line until they're full. It's not going to do all of them at once. It's a very slow process. So building armies isn't quick. You can't just grow an army in 3 days and expect to go out fighting. You have to really plan out your armies, where they're going to be, and this army would probably take about 3 months to build, if not longer. So you have to keep that in mind. It's going to build these up very slowly. And again, it's pulling from the resources in this tile, or in this city, sorry. If we come up to Potenza, I'm trying to find, does Rakov, just trying to find a city that has FAMASs. But I think I just put these FAMASs on the queue, so they're not going to be available for our units. So here we have the L40, which is a sniper rifle, which I researched down here. So it took some time to come down here and research this. So we do have, yeah, we're not building those there. Where were those? So L40s. So if I come up to all the way up here, I would have to bring my units all the way up here, because in my squad editor, I don't know if I've done it yet in this stage of the game. Right, I haven't. So what I can do is I can turn one of my units and give them the L40. The L40 is a sniper rifle, but it doesn't come with a scope when you research it, which is something I didn't know when I first did it. So you can put a scope on it, as you can see here. So there's a scope on it, but so I can do this, but when I build them, it's not going to have the scope on it because we don't have it. One, we don't have it researched. Two, we don't have it in the production queue to be made. And yeah, that's it. Just the two. Because when you build something, so once you research it, I'm kind of going off the rails here, but there's so much to explain. And like I said, this is just going to be going off the seat of my pants here. So let's say we wanted the scope, which isn't even the sniper rifle scope that I want isn't even on. It's not even on the research queue. It might, I think it's in here. The M23, I think it is that I want. But let's say we want the EOT. So here we'd have to research these two to get down to here to research that. So you're looking at it 12 days, 18 days, 24 days. So first of all, you'd have to research it. Then you would have to go into your construction and make sure you have the building to actually make it. Then go into your production queue and it would show up on, once you research it, it will show up on here. And then you will have to start building it in that individual city. So let's say we're building it in Potenza. So we would take out RPGs. I wouldn't do this. I would wait for an opening, or I could take something off the queue if I'm building too much of one thing. Like we're building a lot of FAMASas at this point because we're trying to get them out into the field. But once we got that under control, we could take the FAMASas off, put the scope in Potenza, and that would be, where is it? Over here. So now this city would be starting to produce those sites, which means that they would show up in this queue, in this list of resources. So then we would have, you know, our one unit with the sniper rifle, with the EOT, and we would have, so you would save this, save squad. You can make just like one, make just one unit and just copy it to the entire squad. That'll just save you some time going in individually. So you'd save the squad, go back, and now every squad will have that sniper rifle plus the scope if he has it. If you don't have the scope, it's just going to give him the plain sniper rifle. And if you don't have the sniper rifle, it's going to give him some random weapon that's in here. It would probably give him the shotgun or one of these pistols. So you have to keep that in mind when you're building units too. You can build them in here, but if you don't have the resources, or it's just going to give them a random thing. And you have to plan out what you want to do, because it takes time to either research it and get it on the production queue. Like once you put it on here, it's going to take a while for it to start, before it actually gets into your inventory. And then you have to bring, like I said, it's only going to be in this town. So if it is in here, let's say, just for instance, that these are sites, these pistols. Just pretend that these are the sites that we had for the sniper rifles that we researched and that are in the production, and they're finally out waiting to be delivered. So you would click on this. You would click here, and you would pick the city that you would want it to go to. So where's our army? So it's way over here. So we probably want to bring them over here to Amera. So you would find Amera on here. So now it's going to Amera. These are all the cities that are under your control. So Amera, you just pick how many you want to go. You can repeat this weekly, so that's good for food, because cities that don't have food production are going to be relying on your cities that do. So that the logistics of the game is you have to move around the food to cities that aren't producing any. Also, you can move all supplies to selected location. I don't know if that means all evacuate. So that means all supplies in this area. So that's good to know. If you're about to lose, if you're about to lose a city, it's good to just take everything out. So again, we're pretending that these are the sites for the sniper rifles that we want to bring over to the army. You just pick the city, how many you want to go. You can repeat this weekly. Like I said, it's good for food, so you don't have to micromanage each time. And just send it. As you can see, we're going to turn the clock on. So this truck, as you can see, I can't zoom in any farther. This truck is the material that we just sent. So that physical truck, it can't be attacked. It's not going to get raided or taken over by the enemy. It's just, so that truck is going to physically drive all the way to this town. And once it gets there, it'll be in this inventory. And that's how moving food, anything in this list is going to work. So again, it takes time. And the farther away the city is, obviously, the longer it's going to take. And as you can see, we're moving at, 1 speed. That's how fast it's moving. So that just gives you an idea on how long you want to wait, or how long you're going to have to wait for materials, depending on how far the city is. You can do that with your manpower, anything. So if you want to build a army over here and you find all these cities don't have any manpower in them. So, I mean, we do have I think I moved a lot of resources down here. I was trying to make this a base of operations. So what I did is I just went to each city and just pulled, so this Ranatala, I pulled all of their manpower. I clicked on reservists and just moved them over. So I could do that, just click on them, pick the city that you want, and just move them over and just send them. And that's your, again, reservists is your manpower pool for each city. And if you don't have manpower, so I can create a squad, but I can't build anything here. As you can see, it doesn't give me the plus weapon. So that's useless. You need manpower to build men. And as you can see, we could build 6 squads, but 5 would be full, and then the 6th squad would only have 7 out of 10 units in it. And again, it's only going to fill those squads with these weapons that are here. And that's why I moved a lot of my resources. Where was it? Where did I move them to? A lot of resources down here is because I wanted to build a squad here. And what I'm going to do when these FAMASs come off the line in Rakov is I'm just going to move them down to here. I'm not going to bring my army up to Rakov and then, you don't need to move your army from city to city gathering resources to go where you want to go. Just move the resources to the city where you want them to be for the next push of your offensive is, how I would do things. So right here, I know that once we capture this city and finish off this war, there's nothing over here that we need to worry about. So I'm going to be moving my army over to this east side to take care of this side of the map. So that's why I moved everything over here, knowing that this is where we're going to be next. And this is where I'm going to resupply my units. So what I am lacking here is manpower. So I'm going to have to go around and move some manpower around. But we have plenty of ammunition. Once these FAMASs come off the line, we're going to move them down through here. And that's how logistics works. Excuse me. That's how you move resources around. Is there anything else? Right, one more thing that I forgot. As you can see, we have cities making ammunition. So each, if this isn't enough, each weapon, where is it? Where am I going? Each weapon has its own ammunition that it uses, obviously. So you have to make sure that you're producing the ammunition for the weapons that you're using. Again, you want to streamline your armies. Otherwise you're going to be making a bunch of different stuff and you're just going to be so bogged down. So the ammunition you need to be making depends on what weapons you have. So Sonder, I think I moved the Sonder, we are making this 12.7. This is for our vehicles. Our vehicles down in here. So our vehicles, this little blue line is their ammunition. That's their, as you can hover over it as well. It'll say they have 35% ammunition left. And the way that you resupply your units, so this button down here, rearmament the battalion. So if you click this button, it's not going to do anything right now, but it's going to resupply their ammunition. Again, it's going to pull from whatever city that they're in. So if you don't have the ammunition, or if you don't have the equipment that you have your squad saved for, it's going to give them whatever the game thinks the best is for that unit, if that makes sense. So right now, all we have in Faro is pistols. I mean, this sawed-off shotgun sucks. So I'm glad the game is picking the pistols over that. Same with, well, the vehicles. It's just going to give them ammunition if there is. Again, if I had FAMASs here, or even if I had UMPs, or any weapons better than pistols, the game will default giving the unit that weapon. So if I come, where can I go? Could probably come down here. So let's bring the unit down here. We're going to pull, just get rid of this. Just delete that battalion. If you delete a battalion inside of that city, all the equipment that army had will go into that, back into that town's inventory. Okay, so you can tell that the battalion's in the city because it has a little shield icon. So they're just a garrison here. Now, if I click on this, it's going to change all their weapons, because if you can see, we have better shotguns. We have 14 UMPs here. We have rifles as well. So if we resupply, it's going to give them the UMPs because the game thinks that the UMPs is the best weapon for this unit. You can also click on it, and like I said, it didn't give them FAMASs because we don't have any FAMASs in this region. So that was my major point with this. You can make the squad look as, this is how you want your squad to look when you have the equipment. So like I said, you can give them FAMASs, but if you don't have them, it's going to give them the best weapon here. So you can also click on each, oh, that's one out of, okay, so it's kind of hard. I guess I can go here. So the vehicles work the same as the actual squads. If you click on them, it'll give you a breakdown on what each unit is carrying. So right now, this unit, so this soldier is carrying a Car 98. This soldier is carrying a Car Kano, and so on. It also gives you the ammunition count that they have. If they were carrying RPGs, it would show you right here as well, besides this ammunition count. I don't think with the squad editor, the first 4 units have RPGs. Oh, they do. So I don't, if I let this, do we have manpower here? We do. So we can turn this on. So as you can see, we just had 5. Maybe we don't get RPGs with the vehicles. So you can move these up the line. You can move units. So if you wanted to resupply or refill a unit's manpower quicker, you just put them at the top. So right now we have 7. I don't know what, we must not have RPGs here. That's probably why. We have RPG rockets, but we don't have the actual RPGs itself. So that makes sense. All right, so we have a unit of 10 out of 10, so that's full. And as you can see, it's showing you also the uniform, guerrilla uniforms. And the fact that we don't have any uniforms is kind of troublesome. So I don't think... Yeah, it's going to give them guerrilla uniforms. So I guess it defaults to guerrilla uniforms if you don't have them. Another research done. So research done, we can go to any... You can only research one thing at a time. And same with production. Or sorry, not production. Construction, you can only build one thing at a time, which is super slow. So you really have to pick the best. You have to kind of pick what you think you need the most at that time. Like you can go here, just pick that. So that's one thing, and that's going to take how long? It should tell me if I... So if we're just going to build stone ore... Oh, 26 days. Okay. So one thing at a time. Which is kind of silly. You know, you have a whole island here and you can only produce one building at a time. So I hope that changes in the future as well. Right, so that's what happens when you rearm. It's going to give you ammunition and it's going to give your units the best weapons available in that territory. So considering we don't have RPGs here, I would have to go somewhere. RPG rockets. So we are producing RPGs in Potenza. So we have RPGs up here. So if we went up to Potenza, brought our unit, our battalion that we just built, brought them up here. Where is it? Yeah. Brought them up here and then click that sign, it would resupply them with RPGs. Or I can click on RPG and send them either to the town that the army's in, or like I said before, if I was planning on having an offensive action with this, I would send those RPGs to whatever city that was close to the offensive border. So again, I would probably bring them to here where everything else is, bring my unit over here, and then just resupply from there. Because those RPGs are going to get here probably before the unit does anyways. And then I would click that button again, and then you would go in here and you could see they would have RPGs in whatever unit that I gave them to. So these two would have RPGs, I think. Right. And I think that's too many. My personal experience, you should only really have about three soldiers in each, 3 or 4 max, I would think. Units with RPGs is enough. And I mean, you can put as many as you want in, but to me, 4 seems to be suffice. But I think that's it. I hope I explained everything as best as I could. I might have missed something, but like I said, if I did, just let me know in the comments and we can help the community out. And if I didn't explain something fully, just let me know and I'll try and explain it better there, or I could redo another video or explain it in another video throughout the series. And again, if you guys want to watch that series, it is up on the channel. And yeah, I guess I will talk to you guys in the next video. So if you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to everyone later. Have a good day. Bye for now.